And we're live.
Here we go.
Mm-hmm. We're changing it up. Sometimes I open, sometimes Michaela opens, but here we are choosing us. What a great time. And a super cool conversation, actually. We've been talking about what we wanted to talk about on this episode and the next recordings that we do. And we give these topics quite a bit of pondering. We think about them pretty heavily. We don't just fire off on whatever comes to mind immediately. We try and bring you guys insight and knowledge and the things that are happening in our life and that are relevant and try and add value. That's the purpose of what we do.
Yep. And getting feedback from people and seeing, too, what people want to hear, what other couples are going through and struggling with, and then looking into that more and helping people in their own relationships.
Our biggest goal is to help mitigate the number of divorces happening because it is so rampant today and just widely accepted. If things aren't working out in your favor, just divorce. The end.
Yep. We want to bring couples closer together and help them build stronger relationships and to really understand that when things get hard, that you don't turn outward, that you don't go find something better, something greener on the other side, that when things get hard, that you turn inward and really into yourself to see what you need to work on for you, but then into your relationship as well.
Yeah. And as you've said in the past, the grass is greenest where you fertilize, water, tend the most. And that does start inward, and it starts with yourself and then unity and then outward from there. So this last week, I had a friend in from out of state. Been friends for about almost 16 years, which is pretty cool. And he came to visit for the first time, and it was a wild ride. We had a lot of things stacked up, a lot of meetings, a lot of plans, and just to really demonstrate what it's like living in Utah, at least for us, what life is like for us. And because we had so many things stacked, we were out and about all the time. And if we weren't out and about all the time, Michaela was out and about all the time. Because we both had all the things that we want to do and accomplish and the tasks at hand. And we were walking home on Thursday, coming back from the temple, and he made the comment. Michaela was watching the boys with the temple. We were with the boys in the morning, and then she left after that. And we exchanged the boys in the living room / kitchen, and she went out and we came in, and he said, wow, you guys really just kind of tag team this, don't you? You really just stack it up and make it work and tag team it. And I said, well, yeah, we're a team, and didn't think much of it. But I've pondered more since he has stated that on how important it is that we both do the things that we love. We both try and move our needle forward individually because we are actually running our own race along with a cumulative race. We're working together on a race, but we're also running our own race. Kind of like in racing. There's teams in racing, and they help each other out. And it doesn't really matter who crosses the finish line because the team wins. And how important it is to keep that at the forefront. And then balancing kids involved. How many times we've known people to just stop what they're doing because they have kids.
It's inconvenient, or you have to find babysitters, or you have to figure out kid situations. And yeah, it's not always easy, but we will even go do last minute plans with friends and figure out what we do with our kids, because we're not going to stop living, stop experiencing, stop having fun ourselves just because we have kids. We love our kids and we spend a lot of time with our kids. We spend a lot of time as a family, but we also make it very important that we play and that we have fun, and that is important as well.
And one thing that we were discussing before recording was how important it is to support each other in doing those things. I have my meetings, my events, my networking things. Sometimes some of my meetings are 7:30 in the morning and some of them are 8 at night. but we still make it happen. And sometimes Michaela's got late night ones and not as much early ones for her. And, but lots of midday things that we are out and about. We are very go, go, go all the time. And in fact, we stack it fairly well. And there's sometimes I have to cancel an event for Michaela so she can go to hers. Sometimes she has to cancel hers to go to so I can go to mine. And there's been times where I've had something pre-planned that I've had to cancel for her event because we felt it was, as a whole, would move our needle as a couple further faster.
And there's been a few times we've gotten babysitters in the middle of the day so that we can both go to where we need to be. And that's okay, and we figure it out as we go. And it was actually fun talking to this friend as well this week as he was here. And I remember we were sitting on the couch and you were there and we were discussing our day, which we do every morning, and we go over the day. And he sat back and laughed and he's like, "Wow. You guys do this every day? Like every day's different?" And it just blew his mind because every single day is something different. You're either doing networking or building your business or relationships or working on yourself, whatever it may be. We've always got different things going on every day. And I love that for us. And I know that's not every relationship and not every relationship likes that. But for us, that works. And we have very, very strong communication because of how much we stack in a day and how much we do. And I love that in the mornings where we go over what our day looks like. No matter what that may be. We're always like, "Okay, what are we doing today? What's going on today?" Making sure we're on the same page. Where are you going to be at this time? Where am I going to be at this time? So then we know. And we always go over that, and it was cool to talk to him about that and just get an outside perspective of, he's like, "You guys are always talking. You're always communicating." And then later that day, we were talking about our future plans, and we were talking about the land we want to buy, the houses we want to build, the things we want to do, our purpose and how we want to help the world, and the steps that we're taking today to make that happen. And he was like, "Wow, you guys think about the future. You're planning for the future." And it was cool to see that through his eyes, because for us it's day to day, but for him, he is, 9 to 5. This is what he does, and he does the same thing every single day, and he just knows what his day's going to look like. And it's the same, if not very similar. And they're very focused on right now, in this moment, what I'm doing, and they're not thinking ahead, planning for the future. And I think that's really important, especially in a relationship, that yes, you live in the moment and you're present in the moment, but that as a team, you are preparing for your future and planning for your future. And what is that going to look like? But also, what steps are we taking today to make that happen?
And this friend, they have several family businesses, but as you said, they look no farther than today. And they get the day done. And yeah, things vary, but it's all the same kind of thing. And one of his statements that he reiterated several times was, "Man, I just love how much you guys dream. And you don't just dream it, you plan it, and then you execute it." And he was blown away by all the things that we were doing. He says, "Is this like your every day? Is this how every day is? Or did you just stack this weekend because I'm here?" I said, "Well, sometimes days are busier than this, and sometimes days aren't so busy. We ebb and flow in how much we do and how much energy capacity we have. There are times where we go pedal to the metal, and it's a week or 2 or 3 or a month of just back to back every day, full bore. And then there's a little bit of an ebb sometimes where it's not as crazy, not as busy, a little bit more family time, a little bit more sitting around and just being together. Because we also recognize that we have 2 rambunctious boys. that do not do so well with being in the house. They like to be outside. They like to be playing. They like to go out and do things, go to the aquarium, go to the park, whatever it is, but just get out of the house. Go somewhere, do something. Funny enough, they are that way because we're that way. They see us going out and about doing things. And funny enough, we don't do so well sitting around at the house. We don't do so well unless we get out and go do things. We are a very active family, but your kids follow what you do. They follow the example that you live. And if you sit around a lot and watch a lot of TV and sit on your phone a lot, guess what they want to do? They want to sit around, watch TV, sit on phones, play games. And it's really cool how we have figured out this dynamic for us in this stage. Will it change? Absolutely. It's going to move all the time. It's going to be very organic. Yet we are organic and moving along and just rolling with the swings, rolling with the punches, and taking punches of our own. And it is cool to watch us support each other from his eyes and give us a little bit of a second lens, changing the perspective to which we see things. And seeing how, because we all feel that our lives are regular. We all feel our relationships are regular, like everybody else. And when in fact, nobody's like each other. The only thing common between all of us is that we're not common. And giving a little piece of how we do things, which we think is very mundane and very normal and very everyday, was simply blowing his mind. So much so that we asked, how are you doing? He said, I got to kind of sit there and breathe for a minute to breathe through this because it's so new and so not what I've ever known. But helping him see there's a whole different side and getting him excited because he's not married and doesn't have a family yet. And so getting him excited to have a family and getting him excited and watching him play with our kids and interact with them was super cool, super heartwarming. But it was just really awesome to bring that into our world. And so we ask you, as the listener, how often are you looking at your relationship through somebody else's lens? How often are you bringing other people into your world and letting them view your family? Because we've catered quite a few people over the years, but we've always made it a trip for them. We've always gone and done things we don't necessarily do. Gone to the zoo, gone to the theme park, gone to visitor things that would be fun for vacationers versus welcome to my life. You can tag along as I go on my regular day.
Yeah, and I think it's really important, especially for women, that you actually go out and do things. I feel like we get stuck in our routines. We get stuck in mom life or wife life or work life if you're working and doing the same thing day in and day out. And how often are you doing things for yourself? You're struggling in your relationship, you're struggling with self-esteem, whatever you may be struggling with, it will all affect your relationship and it'll affect your kids. So, what are you doing to take care of yourself? Because you can't take care of everybody else unless you're taking care of yourself. And I 100% believe this, that I know I've heard so many different versions of this, but you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't. And I've heard on countless occasions that if you're a mom and your cup is empty, you're still pouring into your kids. And I get that. And I understand where that part's coming from. But how much are your kids actually receiving? If you're pouring from an empty cup, you may be giving them something, but you're not giving them the best of you. And your kids deserve the best of you. Your spouse deserves the best of you. You deserve the best of you. Why are you pouring from an empty cup if you don't have to? And the only way that you can actually change that is by making the decision yourself that you're done living that way. And the one thing that I'm so grateful for is Brad is very welcoming to let me go have my time. You talked about how in our schedule I'm going out and doing things. I'm a stay-at-home mom and I love that. And for me, I have to plan things for myself, whether that's girls' nights or going hiking with my friends or going out to lunch, whatever that may be. I try and work that around your schedule, and your schedule's always changing, but sometimes we do work it around each other's. But I make it a priority to take care of myself. Because if I am not taken care of, if I am not good, then really the house isn't good, because nothing gets done, because my kids are grumpy and crying and angry because mom is crying and angry. That they feed off of your energy. So even if you're pouring from an empty cup into your kids, they're getting leftovers. They're getting scraps. Why not give your kids the happy, the joy, the love? Give them you at your fullest, and they will reciprocate that to you. Your spouse will reciprocate that to you. If you are giving your spouse the highest energy that you can give them, then they're going to reciprocate that. But if your spouse is only getting the leftovers, it may be reciprocated that way. So you have to look inward. And for the women, you have to take care of yourself. That is what I am doing when I am scheduling in my time. It is to go have girl time, to go get my nails done, or just really to go on a hike or go for a walk. It doesn't have to be spending money, but I'm making sure that I am taken care of. Whatever that looks like, not once a month, on a regular basis, that I am good. That way our family can be good.
And she's very right. She's the COO of the home. And if the COO ain't happy, no one's happy. For instance, today. What happened today? I got up, I went to the gym, I did my thing, and then I started working. And Michaela went to the gym and took the boys with her so I can work. And I started working about 7:15 in the morning. And she took the boys to the pool. And while she was at the pool, it came about noon, said, I need to leave for my appointment. Do you want the boys to come home or do you want to come over here? I went over there so they can continue playing. They're having a great time. So I just worked over there from my phone. Michaela went to a physical therapist.
A chiropractor.
Physical
Went
therapist.
to a chiropractor appointment, and then I went straight from there to get my lash extensions filled and get that done, because that's something that I love doing.
So she was gone from noon
To 4.
to 4. And I had the boys during that time. So I had them, she had them for the first 4 hours of the day. I had them for the second 4 hours of the day. And then for the last little bit, we went as a family to the park, ensuring that we both have equal time to do things. And when she came home from her lashes, I went into my office and vegged for a moment, just so I can decompress after having the boys for 4 hours and working at the same time. But this is the balance we're talking about. It's not actually balanced per se, not a 50-50 weight.
Well, and especially for couples, I know we're super blessed where you have the opportunity to work from home and have flexible work, where I know a lot of people, their husbands are gone. They do the 9 to 5. They're not home all day. So that's going to look different for every relationship, and figuring out what works for you, but maybe scheduling things when your spouse gets home and saying, hey, you know what? Once a week when you get home from work, I need to get out of here. Whether that's going to the gym, whether that's going out with girls, with my friends, whatever that looks like. Every schedule, every relationship is so different. And just understanding that you've got to take care of yourself and that you have to support each other in doing that. I'm there for you when you're like, hey, I'm working all day, but then I'm going to go to this event and I'm going to be gone until 10 or 11 at night. And then there's other days where I'm like, I'm going to go have a girls' night, and I usually don't get back till midnight.
At least.
At least midnight. Just making time for that. It's not just going to come up. It's not just going to fall onto your calendar. You have to, with purpose, put it into your daily life and what that looks like for you and how that works in your relationship, and have the conversations. Sit down, communicate, and say, you know what? I'm going to start making time for myself. Maybe it's every Thursday night, whatever that looks like. But make the time and support each other in that. If your husband, if your partner is working all day long and is just exhausted and grumpy and not their optimal self, maybe suggest to them, be like, why don't you go out with the guys tonight? I got this. I put the kids to bed. I know it's been a long, exhausting day for me, but that's okay. I can see you have had a long, exhausting day too. Go out with the guys, whatever that looks like, but encouraging them to take care of themselves too.
It's that encouragement and the communication to make sure everything is clear and transparent. With that, have this conversation with your friends and your family. Share this episode with your spouse. Leave us a review on whatever platform you listen on. You can find me on social media, Mr. Brad Draper.
And me on Choosing Us.
So like this thing, subscribe to it, download it for future listenings. Until next week, we love you guys. Bye.